If you like your car shows flavoured all Americana, then you'll love the Stars and Stripes show at Tatton Park. Now into its 11th year, the show featured some of America's most beautiful and exotic automobiles from past and present. One stand we just couldn't pass by was owned by a lovely man, going by the handle Jim from Lim. Howdy folks, well I'm here with Uncle Jim, is that right?
Yeah, from Lim.
Oh, from Lim, all the way from Lim. I thought
Yes.
you got an Irish accent, Jim.
Oh yes, well of course I had to come over to this country to do this fine job I've done here.
Right.
And I've lived here now a number of years.
Why are you collecting American cars?
Well, I think many years ago when my mum and dad lived over in the States and they came back. I wasn't born in the States, but I always remember the lovely little trinkets he used to bring back, particularly from the opera houses where he had the opera glasses and they were all very fancy, and then he had lovely signed autographs of the different actors because he used to work on the Bronx Theatre. He was on the door.
Right.
So it all left a very exciting memory for me, and I think once I got a few bob in my pocket, I thought, well, I'm going to own an American car, and unfortunately at the time I didn't have enough money to buy the perfect one, so that was where it started. I done that one up, and from there
What
you
was
can
your
see
first car?
the first one was a 1964 Galaxy convertible. Yeah, Galaxy convertible. Yeah, they were all.
you, Jim.
Well, the convertibles are not just very collectible, but you've got a lot more satisfaction in doing them up because there's a lot more work, but at the end of the day you get a lot more for your work, seeing the hoods working up and down, seeing the hydraulics working, and of course they are a fascinating car. And let's face it, we're going back now with most of these cars back into the 40s and 50s.
How many years have you been collecting cars for then?
I would say probably coming on 30 years, and I'd say 25 years renovating them.
Just tell me a little bit about this story. This has got a lovely fairy tale story, the Cadillac and the Lincoln. Yeah. You went over to America to an auction, didn't you?
I went to New York. Sorry, I went over to Oregon.
Oregon.
To an auction where these two cars were exhibited, and they had been owned by the previous people all their lives. Oh. The two of them had lived for 60 years in the one family. When they came up for auction, I didn't realize how much they were going to fetch, and I didn't have an awful lot of money with me. But I could afford to buy one of them, and this is this fella here on our left. I bought that one, and the old people came over to me when I bought that one and said, was it possible that I might buy the other one? And I said, well, I just haven't got the money to buy the other one. But I got this one back home and we worked on it and brought it up to the condition it's in now, because, I mean, that condition...
Beautiful condition,
well,
isn't it?
It's a lot of work's gone into it, all reupholstered, and I mean, a beautiful engine in there, which I'll show you later. A magnificent car. But as the years went on then, about 3 or 4 years, I was invited to go down to Scotland to do a bit of fishing, and of course I'm not interested in fishing. However, I went down, and as I thought, I just completely lost it on the first couple of hours and thought, this is not for me. Yeah. So I started to walk around, and I was walking down the banks of this river, and I was looking up towards at the back of these big houses, and I seen what looked like a big bumper stuck out at the back from one of the garages that were open.
Yeah.
And I began walking up, and I thought, good God, that looks like an old car. I'd love to get a bit nearer to it. So as I walked up the grass, the beautiful lawn, these big mad dogs come charging out and frightened the life out of me. But luckily enough, the owner called them back. So I made my apologies to him, and I said, look, I'm dreadfully sorry, but I just seen the tail end of a car there that I thought might have been an American car. He said, it is.
And it was this one here?
I said to him, well, could I possibly see it? He showed it to me, and I said, well, do you know, I said, I was at that auction, I've got the other one.
So that's amazing, you were both at the auction at the same time. You bought the Cadillac, he bought the Lincoln.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
That's wonderful.
But he agreed to sell it to me at a very much reduced price on what he paid, because
What, was he a bit of a romantic? Did he want to see them together again?
He was a man who had a lot of money, but realised it wasn't a hobby that he wanted. It wasn't something that he would have followed.
Tell me, did you ring up the people in America then and tell them that they were finally back together again?
The story goes on, yes. They came over here, having phoned them, and I must tell you that they did ring me a number of times during the time I'd had this one and was working on it, and before I went to Scotland, and they asked me if I'd ever heard where this one had gone.
Right.
And of course, when I told them I had it, they came over and they sat in the back of this one here, having biscuits and coffee.
Cream tea
I tell you,
England.
they landed in England at 9 o'clock at night, and at 11 o'clock the same night, they were sat in the back of this having coffee, and I get many a phone call from them, and they're very close, on 90 years of age now, the pair of them.
Favourite.
The Lincoln is the favourite because, of course, it's a beautiful looking old car, and the others are beautiful cars, but
That's your favourite.
it came and it gave such joy to these people that it lives with me, and I don't think I could ever think of selling it. I won't sell it in my lifetime.
Just finally, to wrap it up, didn't you say you wanted to show me something in the back?
I'd like to show you the back of this one here. Yes, this is something that
Something
I'm sure
special you said for me.
I'm sure it's something you'd like to see. Now, in the back of this one, you can see the beautiful upholstery.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I must point out to you that we do also a book.
Oh, a nice history file.
Yeah, a history file on the cars,
Yeah.
which tells people from the day the car came into my collection, what has happened to it, and
Lovely.
a full history of all
You
repairs.
really are passionate about your cars, aren't you, Jim?
You've got to do. And then, of course, I give a marvellous service to our village, you know.
Do you?
Oh, indeed I do. You know, we get a few problems down in the village, you know.
Yeah.
And, of course, I've got to get cracking and get down there. And
Steady on,
well,
Jim.
of course,
What's one of those?
you've got to
You'll have me
remember.
arrested.
You've got to remember this was Cagney's car, and this is the kind of gun he used. Now, this is an original gun, but of course, it is deactivated. It doesn't function, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be allowed in the place. But we play the part.
So, Jimmy,
Yeah.
where are you taking me today?
Well, I think we're just going to head out the country now, and I'll show you some nice.
Woo, yeehaw!
Yeah, boy.
and what little car are we driving in
Well,
then
now
today?
this is a 1949 Buick Roadmaster, a very, very special car because this was the car that done Rain Man and the Karate Kid. Not this exact car.
Wax on,
Wax up.
wax off.
That's right, yeah.
Ah.
That's it. That's it, the Karate Kid as well. Well, the car was not this very car, but the car that done the Karate Kid, of course, was a cream-coloured car.
Oh, right.
But this is a very rare car, so it could even have been this car, but I wouldn't know.
But this car was actually in Rain Man, wasn't it?
Oh yes, it done Rain Man and it done the Karate Kid.
Right. I think we'll do quite well then, won't we? Cruising down the high street,
Well,
won't we?
I think we better get cracking here in case the rain comes because.
Oh no, it never rains in Cheshire. Don't
Right,
worry about
good.
it. This car, £45,000 on restoration. What's that all about?
No. People exaggerate the time that you spend on a car.
Yeah.
We like to think that we've put that much effort and time into them, but we do put a lot of time in. But of course, there's no value to that kind of time because you do it for the love of it. And okay, when this car came to me, it wasn't very good. Certainly nothing like it is today.
This car, would it guzzle fuel? They do, don't they, American
It
cars?
does like fuel. In fact, it cries going past petrol stations.
And they like big roads, don't they?
Yeah, the bigger
American
the roads, the better.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
They
yeah.
come to a nice home, though, when they come to you, Jim.
Well, they get well looked after. I say good night to them every night before I go to bed and tuck
And
them up.
Margaret.
Oh, Margaret, yes, I say good night to her later.
How many cars have you brought down to the show today, then?
Well, we've got 14 cars here.
Crumbs.
14 cars, yeah.
How'd you get them down?
We've got 5 drivers.
Right.
5 drivers.
So they're all drivable then?
Oh, they're all drivable. They're all
Which
drivable.
one do you drive down then?
Well, obviously
The
I
Lincoln.
drive
You
5.
like the
Yeah, I
Lincoln,
do.
don't
I
I
do.
know,
Yeah. The Lincoln's a beautiful car.
I always say that I want to be buried in my car because I love my car. Do you ever say that? Am I being morbid saying that to you, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
I know you've got many years to go, but
I want to live forever with these cars.
yeah. But like, you know, say the day, like when I pop it, I'm
Yeah.
going down in my car. Would you like to be buried in one of your cars?
If I thought anyone put a shovel of soil on top of one of these, I'd tell you what, I'd have to give them a smack.
Well, I could have spent the whole day with Jim, but time was ebbing away. Meanwhile, in the main showground, some of America's finest metal was parading to a very captivated audience. More from Jim and other enthusiasts in next week's show.